Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have started it. So when we go to the landing page of any object, and we do all, and we can see all the records or all the rows of this table, right? So there are 16 accounts in this table, and we can also see the same from backend, right? So if we just go to Workbench and do a SQL query on account object, and we can do a count on account, right? You'll see query returns 16 records. So I can like find out the ID and name, because these ID is the standard object, right? We already discussed. Standard field, sorry, in this object. Every object will have an ID field. Yeah. And I have the mandatory name field on account object. So these are the two most important fields on this table. The ID field is not we are not able to see ID field from, apologies. So this is the table in his view. And when I go to the account, there's no ID field, right? So because for the business users, this ID field is not relevant. The same ID field we can see when we open any account, and on the top, it will show up this ID, right? The same ID, which is basically we are seeing here. Okay. So if we are on BCCI and you see this ID, AA3TAAD, this one is exactly 3TAAD is showing up here. Yeah, all the IDs of every account is now available to you. So what we do is I can, this is a schema, right? Bare minimum schema that is needed. Let us download this as a Excel file, right? So I can see this is the download. Let's name this account and open this. I'll rather open this in Excel. Yeah, so now I can see a table, right? I can do the same thing on contact object. What are the bare minimum fields required in contact object?
ID.
Ready?
ID, name, mobile number.
Name. What is name? Can I
Last name.
Yes.
Last name.
There are two parts of this: first name
First
and
name.
last name. First name is not mandatory, but bare minimum this is needed, right? And very important field is account ID, right? This account ID field tells us this contact belongs to which account, or a child of which account, isn't it? And this is contact. So what we will do now, let's create some new accounts. Okay. So this is the schema I have. If I delete this and I say that upload test account 1, and I create 10 accounts or 9, yeah, it's like 10 accounts. 10 new accounts I want to do in bulk. So a business user will never be able to like a business user does not need to do this, right? A bulk creation of accounts. He will only work on the account he's basically working on, isn't it? So you as an admin would be responsible for doing bulk operations on these tables, because probably you are migrating data from an old CRM to this new CRM, new Salesforce, right? So in that case, you have to create hundreds and thousands of accounts, because that account already are there in the old system, isn't it? So bulk data creation, even if you should not supposed to work on data, sometimes there are requirements when you have to work in data. And when you are working on data, most probably you will be working on bulk data, many data at one point, because if it is one data, the business user can change it, right? You don't need admin help, right? So when I do a operation, a create operation on this table, so this is a create operation. The previous operation which I did is a read operation, right? I was seeing all the records of that, and right now I want to create these accounts, new accounts, right? There are only 16 accounts, and I want to create some more using this table, this tool. So how do I do this? So, can I give an ID field here? Can I get some ID values here?
Yeah, Animesh, that will be helpful for us if we give an ID for each applicant. If we give an ID, that will be helpful for us to retrieve those data if needed in future.
Yes.
Like to.
You cannot give ID, because ID values are created by Salesforce. So if you supply any value here, it will not be, Salesforce will not accept it. Salesforce has its own format of creating IDs, and that is auto generated by Salesforce. So ID field in your creation mode has to be blank.
Okay.
So when I save this, let's say I name this as account new, right? So now I have created some new record, new name, only some names, and I have not used the ID field because Salesforce will not accept it. So which of this operation is most likely for me to create accounts?
Insert.
Yes. But it is easy to understand, right? So I will select my account, which object I want to do the insert, and I want to do it from, it's not a single record, right? It is from a file. So I will choose that file. What is the new file name? This one, right?
Account.
I will do next. And this is the very important step wherein I am basically mapping the fields of my Excel sheet or CSV file with the actual fields in Salesforce. See, in the actual table, there are so many fields like this, right? But my Excel field does not have, my Excel sheet or the CSV file does not have these all fields, right? It's not required. I only need the name field, right? That is what I want to insert. Maybe I can give other fields also, but not needed at this point. The name field is auto mapped. Why? Because the name is matching. When your API name of Salesforce field is exactly same as what is there in the CSV header, Salesforce automatically maps it. But if there is a little difference, like this name is like in 2 or 3 fields, I will show that, then you have to manually map that. Okay, you have to select it. You will see this is not automatically populate. You have to select that in order to do that population. You see ID field is not there, right? Because in create mode, Salesforce does not give you the opportunity to map ID fields. So that would be ignored. And you say map fields. And there is a record you can, if there are large number of records you are trying to do, you can use this. This will batch it and you will do it gradually. But right now it's a small number, so I will straight away go. And you see, this is the result. And so these accounts have already generated ID fields. And it is showing the status of create. So I can go and download results. Now you see the Salesforce fields, and this, if I do this, I can see this records number, right? So I can copy this to my original sheet, or I can, what I can do is that I can directly, I can do a fresh download of my account. So let's do a fresh download. That will save a lot of effort for me. So I will go to query once again. I will go to account object, and I will download ID and name fields, right? Any questions so far? So you see now 16 plus these fields have got created, right? So now I will go and download it. Quite simple, right? Things. So this is the new download result. The old CSV is no longer required. I will rename this as account CSV. And if I open this now, I can now see the whole bunch, including the new accounts which I have created. Clear? So if I now go to this org and go to account landing page and go to all accounts, I can, sorry, did I open the right? Yes. So you see now total 26 records, which is exactly what I'm seeing in this Excel sheet, 26 records. And this is also showing up here. So directly from the database, you can upload things and it will show up in Salesforce, right? You can also import from here. This is called a import wizard. You can go to account and contact, add new records. You can select the CSV file, upload it here and do next. The same thing, right? Let's do this. So I will probably now rename this to 11. Same, right? ID field is not mapped. And here, which field I will map? Only the account name, right? Start import. And this basically opens up in a batch job mode. So you can go ahead and you can see this is the bad job which is running at this point, and it has been now completed. So let's see. First, let's see on the workbench. Can I see all the records now? What is account? Previously it was 26. Batch is still running. Oh, Now it is 36 records, right? It is in now the things has changed. If I go back, it is not, you have to refresh the screen, otherwise it does not show up. So now we have 36 records. Yeah. If I want to see this here, I can see it also. So you can upload data in bulk from Salesforce UI, that is called import wizard. You can upload it from any tool like a Workbench, or there is a data loader tool also, which you can also try it out, and this needs to be downloaded on your machine. If you search with data loader here, this is a small tool. You can download data loader for Windows, and you can use your user ID password to log in along with your security token, which has come to your mail, or you can reset your password. The security token will come to your mail. Then password and security token, you have to do it together into the password field, and then you can log into this, and you can do the use the same way as you are using Workbench, and you can load data into Salesforce. Okay, so similar thing will happen. Let's see the contact data now. So this is my contact data. You see, there are a lot of contacts already. One of these contact does not have an account ID. You see, test website. What kind of contact would be which does not have account ID? These contacts which does not have account ID are only visible to the owner. Apart from the owner, nobody else can see these contacts. So this contact is called private account, private contact. Okay, you can create for yourself. If you do not give an account, then you will be only able to see this contacts. Nobody else is able to see these contacts. So in order to show a contact for everybody, and the contact shows up in the account screen, right, as a related list. So this account is the relationship field. This is a lookup field wherein you have to put the account IDs, the IDs of the account table. Yeah, you see this is repeating because both these those contacts belong to the same account. Yeah, so that is a similar way. It might be repeated. So let's create some new contacts. Do I need the ID field for creating contacts?
No.
Account ID, where will I get that?
The accounts that we have created, IDs of those.
So I will go to this account sheet. Here is the account sheet. I will select which account should I go for. Maybe first 5 I want to create for this account. So I select the account ID of upload test or BCCI maybe. Let's select BCCI, easy to understand. So what I will do, test survey account. Yeah, that's fine. BCCI. I think BCCI already has some, but we'll see. So we'll copy this ID and I will go back to my yes. Here I will paste it for first 5 accounts. first 5 contacts. So these five contacts will be associated to this account. I will go back to my account. I will select the second one, and I will put it for the next 5. So only 2 accounts I have selected, and I have associated the contacts. So this ID field is very massive. Otherwise, this relationship will never work, right? So I will save this. I will go to now the workbench. I will go to insert operation once again. Now this time I will select contact. There is a contract object and there is a contact object. So please be careful while doing your assignments. So account ID has been mapped. The first name has been mapped. Last name has been mapped. And the ones which is showing in red are basically mandatory fields. So now I can go along and I can do insert. So I see my 10 contacts has been created and the Salesforce ID also is showing up, right? If I go to BCCI now, you see all those new contacts is now created. 5 contacts has been created. I also will go to another entitlement account, which was sample account for entitlement, which also has this new accounts, 5 accounts, right? If I go to query now, select contact. You can use the control key to select multiple fields. And I download this. And I delete this old CSV file. Salesforce only works with CSV files. So it is very critical that you understand the CSV technique. CSV are basically text files, which is comma separated values. CSV stands for comma separated values. So if you open with any like a maybe any tool like maybe notes, you see this this looks exactly like this in the text file. If you are on Windows computers, you are using open this with Notepad, it will look like this. The CSV values basically now gets converted into this table looking view, nice view when you open that in Excel. That is easy to work, but you can straight away go and even work on Notepad. Nobody stops you. Yeah. So if you have enter, I can create a new new row here and type it out, and that will also work. Yeah, that's the whole point. So we have seen how to create records in bulk and how to create records with relationships, right? So there are 2 operations which we achieved: the read operation and the create operation, right? What about the update operation? So what if I want to change? What if I want to change my accounts, which I just created, right? These are my accounts, right? This is the whole list. What if I am not happy with these names? What if I want to like update this? upload the test account now. This is now I want to remove this test part. Yeah. So I removed this for my 10 accounts which I created initially. I want these names to be changed. When you want to change, it's called an update or edit of records. Now, if I am not changing the others, probably I should remove this because I am not touching them, right? So why to keep them? Let's delete it and save this account. So now my account table has only 10 records, which needs the name changing. How will I do that? I will go to now update operation. Similarly, select account from file. Before we move into update operation, is ID needed?
Yes,
Why?
because it is an existing ID. We are just updating. We are not creating anything new.
Yes. Apart from creation, the rest of the operations, be it read, update, edit, delete, every operation needs ID field. ID field is the way Salesforce recognizes that record uniquely, and then only they can change it, delete it, or read it or extract it, right? So it is very vital that we provide ID field when we are doing update or edit or delete or read. So individual read I'm talking about. Okay, so I will do an update now from file. I will choose account. Here the same story. Now the ID field comes in and you have to map this, and it's a mandatory field. The name field, I am only changing the name field, right? So I will map only these two fields. Even I can have more fields, but I don't need to map them in. So this has been now updated. So let's go back to my account. And you see these 10 records, the test is gone. The name has been now modified, right? What if I want to now delete these records? Similar story. I go to, before doing a delete, I want to show you another thing. It's called upsert. What is upsert? Upsert is basically inserting and updating together in the same file. How does that work? When you go to this file, account CSV, so you have created, these are the fields are there, right? So let me create some new ones. Upload account 21. For creation, do I need to provide the ID?
No.
Right. So now I want to bring back my test once again. Sorry about it. Any questions? So I have brought back these. I am like again changing the name to this, and I am also want to insert this all together in one operation. Can I do that? This is what the upsert talks about. One file that will do both jobs for me. If I am providing the ID, it will update. If I am not providing the ID, then it will create. Similarly, ID field is mapped, name field is mapped, and I confirm upsert. You see, these wherein the ID was there, it is showing as updated, and those which did not have ID, it is showing as created. Right? So maybe I will download this download results, right? Upsert results, and I will probably use this Excel sheet now for deleting these records. What does it contain? Let's see that in Excel sheet. This looks like this. For deletion, you only need the ID field. Nothing else is needed. Right? So I have just I have provided these. These are not required any longer. So let's delete this. Salesforce ID is needed. Apart from that, nothing else needed. But we can keep this for our own understanding. That what I am trying to delete. So I go to the delete operation. Choose this file. And it is not able to map. Why? Because it's called ID, but in the Excel sheet, it is called Salesforce ID. So it's not able to map it. That's why you have to choose it. Right? And it can ask, do you want to permanently hard delete? What is a permanent hard delete? Salesforce also has a recycle bin inside it. So any records which you delete will be stored in the recycle bin for 15 days before it is permanently deleted. But you can go ahead and do a shift delete thing, right? But the permanent deletion, you don't need to store it in second. So it is deleted, right? I can download this full results. So if I go now to this account, this is 26 records, this 1 to 10, this whole lot, and 21 to that. It is missing now, right? You cannot see this, but it's still there in the recycle bin. So you can bring it back. That also you can do. So what you can do is, this is the undelete part. So you can choose the file, again, the same file, which you used for the delete operation, and confirm undelete. See, undeleted. When you do a undelete and you refresh the screen, see this 1 to 20 and 21 to everything is back again. Right? So it has brought it back from recycle bin. What if you want to permanently delete all the records? You go to purge. Choose the account delete. Before purging operation, you must, you see, you will get you see, this is what is saying. You will get an invalid record ID because it is not there in the recycle bin. So before using purge, first you have to delete and then purge. Purge happens from recycle bin. Okay, so first you have to delete the accounts. Oops. You can permanently delete from here also. It will confirm delete, but let's see step by step operation. So you have deleted now. Now these are all there in the recycle bin. Now you go there to purge operation. Select the same file, the deleted file with the same IDs, and confirm purge. When it's here, it is permanently deleted. In that case, it will no longer show up, and you will no longer be able to undelete. Yeah, it will throw an error if you try to undelete it. Let's try to undelete it. If you go to the same delete file for undeletion, now it will say that this does not belong to the recycle. Yeah, it's not there in the recycle. Okay, so what important part we realize is that when we are creating a relationship field, at that time you have to make sure that you bring these ID fields values into your child records, right? So contact must have the account ID. That is a cumbersome process when you are working with a lot of data. So that will like, this will be very difficult to do that, right? You will go and search for that account, do a look. If you know Excel, then you can do VLOOKUPs part and so on. Then you can do that. But this is a cumbersome process. Can this be made a little smarter? Yes, it can be made a little smarter. How do we do this? For that, there is a you have to go to. We'll do some changes to our data object. But before that, Ketan has some questions. Yeah, Ketan, what was your question? Standard object and custom object.
Yeah.
So if you see this
these are the
underscore
objects.
underscore C, this is a custom object. And those which do not have underscore underscore C, that is showed as standard object. This is what
No,
you're talking about?
No, like you search for the order into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want this onto my home screen of sales, means the app. Tab, I want tab there, this order as a tab.
Yeah. Yeah, you go to the, what do you have to do? Tell me.
Go to the sales.
What changes are you doing here? What changes you have to do here? If
I
you want to
want
take
the
the order
order.
tab in in which app, right? These are all apps.
Sales. I want
You
it
want to
sales.
change the sales app, right? So
Yeah.
you have to go to the app. You have to go to the app manager, which is this app manager, sales app, right? Lightning Sales. Edit it. Navigation item. So you have all this stuff already. And here on that, you want to add orders. You just add it and save it. Clear?
Yes.
We have not gone there. It will come in upcoming sessions. So what now in the sales tab, you will probably see orders.
Yes.
Yeah, you can create orders. Okay, so now we'll be back on our, what changes do I need to do so that my loading data become a little more simple? I don't have to deal with this complicated ID fields, right? So what I can do is that I can go to my setup. I will go to my account object. Here, I have to create a new field. So let's create, how many custom fields are there? Not much, right? Yeah. So let's create a new field. What kind of field will this be? It will be a text field. What I will name this? Maybe my ID. .255 characters is the total length. Let's use it. I can make it required. I can make it unique, which is needed. Let's do this. Because this will be a ID field. When you have ID field, it must be unique, right? So I will consider ABC and ABC, the case sensitivity. This will be as in a case insensitive field. So I will keep it this way. And this is very important. This is an external ID. I will use this kind of a field to help me out with my data loading. So a text field which is of type external ID now. Okay, I have made a text field external ID and I have added this on the screen. What is the benefit of doing this? Let's go back to my account objects and let's see how simple this can now become. I create a fresh set of data now. In creation, can I create ID again? I cannot, right? Here I can create my own ID field. It can be alphanumeric. See, I have created this. So while creation, now I have populated a new field which I have created right now, and I have added values to that, and these values are my own serial numbers. My format. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4 also, but I have put some alphanumeric values. So let's go back to Workbench. I want to now do some inserts. Which file is this? Account, normal account. Name field. And I am also loading another field, right? My. Okay. Here I have to, since I have done a schema change, I have to fire the Workbench or log into Workbench once again, so that it fetches the new schema. Otherwise the fields don't show up. Okay. Once again, I go to account. Name field is there. Can I see my ID? Yes, it is now there. I will now map it to my ID field. It is not exactly the same named as the API name, that's why it is not able to map it automatically. So now I have two fields which I am mapping for doing this insert. What happens now? So if I go to account, some new accounts has got created, right? And if I change this here, my ID, add this, maybe I will bring it closer to. So now I can see these fields, these accounts have a external ID. Right. So now what happens is that my upload has happened successfully. I have a set of IDs which I have created for myself. How is this beneficial? It is beneficial for creating relationships. So now I will go to contact. And I have new contacts to create, right? So let's create. Instead of finding the account ID, what I will do is that this account, maybe I will take the first ID of account and put it here and copy this for my record. So I'm not even going to Salesforce to do a retrieve, right? I'm saving one of my good efforts, and the next 5 I will probably make it 2. You see the benefits? So account ID, I no longer have to go and check what is the Salesforce ID Salesforce has created for it. I don't care. Right now, I am using the ID which I am given. So I have taken these 2 accounts and these my ID which I have given to them. I have used it here, and I save this contact CSV. Now, if I do now insert, contact ID, choose file. So account is now mapped to account, but the account field, if you try to now insert this right now, where in insert, you see this is a malformed ID error which you will get. Why you will get this error? Because Salesforce is expecting a Salesforce 18 character or 13 character case sensitive version of the ID, Salesforce ID. It is looking for a Salesforce ID, but you are providing something of your own. That won't work. How to make this work? So I will go same. I will choose, okay, sorry, I selected wrong file. So account ID, first name and last name, all 3 are mapped correctly. What I need to tell Salesforce that I am not providing you the Salesforce ID. Instead, I am providing you the ID I created for myself. And I want you to substitute that value with Salesforce IDs. And which field am I using? I have to use it here. I have to tell it that I am basically supplying you the ID of this, the values of this field which I have created. This is an external ID. You can only use in Smart Lookup any field which is marked as external ID. Otherwise, you won't be able to use it. So I am providing that value. You substitute that value on the fly and put the appropriate Salesforce value in this field. That is the instruction I'm giving to Salesforce. So now I am mapping this field and doing a confirm insert. Now the records got created. So if I go to now external ID test, you see I have 5 contacts but getting created. If I go to external ID 2, I have the rest of the 5 contacts here. So how we can use external ID to bypass the Salesforce ID process and make life easier for us using external ID. Clear to you guys?
Yes, Anish.
Yes. So it's a very easy stuff. When you are doing with a lot of data, always it is advised to use external IDs. External IDs will make life much simpler for you for doing uploads. Yeah, and creating of relationships. External ID you can also use for updating those records. Instead of you supplying the ID field, you can supply external ID, but that is not supported in Workbench. You can do that in data loader. Okay.
Okay.
That is it. So this is all we had for today's class. It is very vital that you go back and start practicing if you are not aware of this part, particularly the external ID part and relationships and loading data into tables and creating relationships. Particularly if you have a child object like which has 2 parents, like a opportunity product which has 2 parents, like opportunity as well as product. How to create that values? Try to practice that, because you as an admin, and particularly those who are moving to support projects first, have to work with data every day, day in, day out. and you have to do these kinds of operations in bulk with a lot of data. So you have to absolutely know this as a back of your hand. Clear? Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll end the sessions for today.
Hello, Animesh. I
Yes.
have one question.
Yes.
We have updated record names. Means we first the name is BCCI, then we have changing to some other name.
Yeah.
So if in one org there are 2-3 peoples working on simultaneously.
Yeah.
So how do we track that this record name has been changed?
Yeah, you can always go to an account and you can see in the details. This is last modified by, who changed that and at what time. So if the same record is getting modified by multiple people, then this last modified by will show you who modified it the last and at what time. And this is tracked by Salesforce. You can also do a you can do a chatter feed stuff. So I will show this. There's a thing called feed tracking. In feed tracking, you can track fields change. You see, account name is tracked, account owner is tracked. So these, if somebody is changing these values, it will keep a track. You can add 20 fields like this. So maybe I will add my ID also here. So what it happens is that when you go to the object and you go to account layout, where did it go? Activity history. No. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Maybe I am changing this ID to 20.
This Mac machine is very difficult to navigate. I keep forgetting.
Okay. I think I added this here somewhere. Give me one second. Check. Pause the recording for a while. Okay, I think I will check that. Why it is not showing up. I think some things has not been enabled. I will show that in the next class. Yeah, feed tracking part. So what you can do is that basically if you change the values on these fields, it will show you what is the old value and the new value.
Anime, there is something called field tracking history. Like we need to
Field
turn
tracking,
that on.
yes, I am not seeing that.
Yeah.
Are you able to see that in the layout? I am not able to see that field tracking. It's not showing up here. So there is some problem. Something needs to be enabled.
Maybe we can go into the classic and like in that.
Yeah, this is classic.
Okay.
I will check what is something is wrong with this. Showing up, it is enabled, but somehow it is not.
Enable field tracking. There is.
Yeah, is there? It's all enabled. It should give me. Yeah, somehow it's not showing up the layout. Why it is not showing up the layout? I will check that. Yeah.
Okay, Animesh.
Some problems here. Okay, that's fine. Guys, have a nice day ahead. Great weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.